What's up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. I mean, there is just something about the Underdog, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we have an absolute beast on the Underdog Talk. But before we get in this interview, you guys know I have to give this gentleman a proper Underdog Talk introduction. Hailing from Ohio, this gentleman is an IFBB pro. Today's guest was a standout football player. This gentleman was the champion of the NPC Nationals 2021. And finally, a man who once said, your number one competitor is always in the mirror. I am proud and honored to present the one, the only, the future of bodybuilding, Mr. Carlos Thomas Jr. What's up, big fella? How you doing today?
What's going on, champ? That was one heck of an intro there, man. That is well welcomed, well received.
And Carlos, I mean, that's what we got to do. We got to bring the energy, and because we bring the energy, we also bring the guests. I mean, I am speaking with Carlos Thomas Jr., the champion of the NPC Nationals 2021 and a new IFB pro in the industry. Now, Carlos, before we start this interview, I have to ask. I saw you pouring honey onto a spoon before your workout. I haven't seen that one before. Does that really help?
Yeah. So that's the post-workout right there. So we're just getting the high glycemic carbs in. We're getting the sugar. And so my coach likes to mix it up. We do a carbohydrate shake. Mine's from my sponsor, Project AD, Raging Full. So it's like highly brand cyclic dextrin and carb 10. So we use that, and then I use banana, and then I use honey as well. So for a total post workout, and I have a Gatorade I mix my carbohydrate drink and a powder and a Gatorade. So I think in total we're getting around like 150 grams of carbs, really easily digested. So that's the trick behind it. You know what I mean? It's fast carbs, easily digested, and I'm eating an hour after that meal right there. So yeah, it's a good treat too. It hits really well.
It hits different, and I mean, when I was on prep for my first bodybuilding show, my coach only allowed me to do 140 carbs the whole day. So I mean, that would have been my allowance plus 10. But again, I do not look like Carlos Thomas Jr. In fact, I was at 133 for my first competition, so I was nowhere near the champion. Now, Carlos, I want to start from the beginning. You grew up in a small town near Columbus, Ohio.
Wilmington, Delaware. That's the only thing.
It wasn't Ohio.
No, it wasn't Ohio. Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, Wilmington, Delaware. All right, my facts have lied to me then. Normally we do pretty good research.
I like Ohio. It's a cool place, but Wilmington, Delaware, probably even worse than Ohio.
All right. You grew up in Wilmington, Ohio. There we go.
Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware.
Now we're just going. I honestly, for side story, for the longest time, I didn't even know Delaware was a state. But
brother, Carlos, I barely know it's a state. You drive right through it in 2 seconds.
Exactly. I just go there for the no tax aspect now. But Delaware.
There you go.
You are from Delaware. We got it right on the third tribe.
Yes, however, exactly. It's
Delaware. However, this is accurate. The next part, you were interested in various sports growing up, and am I correct on that? Good. I just had to.
Yes, you're well correct on that one.
And one of your favorites was football. In fact, you were a football player in college, though. Obviously, unfortunately, you got a neck injury that stopped you from playing the sport that you loved. But would you mind talking a little more about your early life, Carlos, and then when did you find the sport of bodybuilding? Because obviously it didn't happen until after that injury in college.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I didn't really hit the weight room until I was about like 14. Before that, I did like martial arts. So did a lot of Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Wing Chun. And I did that just because I was a big fan of Bruce Lee growing up. So I was always into the martial arts for a long time. But then when I found football, that was like my thing. I felt like that was something I kind of call my own, and I gravitated to that a little bit more. Again, like you said, went through college, had a neck injury, but I knew about bodybuilding before that, because it's kind of like once you find the weight room, it's kind of hard not to know who Ronnie Coleman is, Jay Cutler at the time, is because if you go to any like really, I guess, community type of gym, they have some pictures of bodybuilders up there, on the walls. Not like your chain type of gym, but your corporate gym. But we had a local gym around here, and a pretty cool YMCA. They had like bodybuilding photos up. So when I joined the gym, I just kind of knew about them by just seeing them on the wall. Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. Those guys are huge. Not what I want to be like right now, because I want to be like, Walter Payton, or, like when I started playing football, it was like Adrian Peterson had just joined the league. So I wanted to be like these guys, or LaDainian Tomlinson. And I was like, man, that was my aspirations, is to reach a different kind of pro league. But hey, that didn't happen. So I still love the weight room. And after that, I was like, you know what? I think I might look into this bodybuilding deal. It was either that or CrossFit, and I decided not to do CrossFit.
Wow, and I mean, clearly you made the right choice as a kid from Ohio. No, I'm just fucking with you, Carlos. As a kid from Delaware, you made the right choice. You made the right choice. As Carlos, you emerged from really nowhere with great genetics, a combination of what I like to call the golden age and present bodybuilding. And recently you won the NPC Nationals and then became a pro bodybuilder. Congratulations. Hats off, sir.
Thank you.
Would you mind talking about the work, and that drive that went into becoming a pro bodybuilder? Because it didn't just happen right away for you, Carlos. And then what was the feeling like of finally hearing Carlos Thomas Jr. is an IFBB pro? What was that like?
Right. Yeah, like, well, starting off from the beginning, it's like, not many people know, but I placed dead last at my first NPC Nationals. I was the last place. So I've been there before, and I've placed top 5 in the middleweights in 2017, and then 4 years off. But I feel like in the midst of that, you still have to stay consistent, and I think around 2019, when I started working with Dorian Hamilton as my coach, he really taught me how to be consistent in the off season. And that's when I was like, okay, when I kind of saw my potential, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do this, go all the way with it. So being consistent throughout those 2 years, from 2019 leading into 2021 Nationals, off season was treated like a prep. We stayed on diet, didn't have too many cheat meals. And it really paid off, and we were able to jump a bunch of weight classes. So going into that show, I had the mindset of this is it. This is going to be the year, and I didn't think of any. I didn't think there was a next year. I just knew it was just this year. So when we came with that, we came with the mindset of we're going to close the chapter on this book, the final chapter, and start the new chapter as a pro, and that was going to be. That was going to be this year. That was going to be 2021. There was no other year. So coming in and winning that show and hearing my number, I remember like how it's like yesterday, 551, Carlos Thomas Jr. And I was like elated, right? It was just a culmination of all these years, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of doubt, a lot of ups and downs. 4 years off thinking, okay, will I ever get back on stage? To get him back on stage at a regional show, winning the overall there, to winning the overall at NPC Nationals, which was my first large national show. Prior to that, I did collegiate nationals and Universe. But yeah, man. So sorry, I'm dragging on, but in some, it was just a pure gratitude, gratitude to everyone who came along the ride with me, and we did it. That was like the thing we said afterwards, like we did it. It was just because it wasn't just like I said, it wasn't just me. I had a lot of support, my family, my girlfriend, my trainer, everybody. So it was my posing coach. Yeah. So I'm getting back into it again, man. It's like it feels like it was yesterday. I got goosebumps.
And I mean, I got goosebumps. Like, damn, Carlos, you got me getting goosebumps. And I've talked to some big names, and I've never got it. But I think the big thing that stood out to me was that last place, and coming from last place to first place. I mean, so many people would have given up, and I think that shows the resiliency in you, Carlos, in terms of you knew what was coming for you. You knew it. And that hunger too. I've talked with so many people, especially in the fitness industry, and that hunger is what these successful people have. That hunger to, face all obstacles and, bounce back. Like Kevin Levrone, one of my favorites of all time, was on the show, was telling me how he had a infection. That infection, no one saw him coming back. Branch Warren, who was on the show, tore his hamstring. No one saw him coming back. And then for you, that last place, and people were kind of counting you out. And then look what you did. And now here's the $1 million question, because I've heard a lot in the fitness industry about you, sir. A lot of good things. But I am very curious. Would you mind talking about what is next for Carlos Thomas Jr.?
Well, right now, man, we're just chilling, man. We're just kind of keeping the ship steady. We just came off of a bit of an off season, taking a break, not really pushing the food up, giving the digestion a time to settle down. So we lowered food a little bit. I'm going to get ready for a guest posing at the Janet James Classic in Germany. So I'm going to be guest posing there in October. And then after that, man, I'm getting full steam ahead onto the off season again, and we're going to get ready for the 2023 New York Pro. That's going to be a big deal.
I see some Olympias coming up soon too. Is this something?
I'm hoping, man. That's the goal. But that's the goal. It was a goal of mine when I first set out. I made a promise to myself. I was like, you know what? Like one day, like I'm going to get to that Olympia. I'm going to get there and hopefully take home at least 2. That's my plan, is to take home at least 2 one of these days.
And I mean, I do believe it will come. I wish we could see you in the 2022 Mr. O, but I think 2023 Mr. O is calling your name. And obviously you need the points and all that to qualify.
Yes, sir.
Now, finally, Carlos, I kind of want to end with this. You've seen it all in the fitness industry, truly coming from a different background, coming from a sport, football background, transitioning into that bodybuilding background. What is your biggest tip for someone who's looking to start their fitness journey just like you once were?
So I think for me, I would say just do the work. What I mean? Enjoy it, love the journey of it, and the things, and the sought after things of today's times, the followers, what I mean, the sponsorship. It'll come. But you have to do things for the right reasons. What I mean? You have to love the journey of it and love every moment of the journey, the highs and the lows, because I had a lot of lows coming through, coming up, and you're going to keep battling every day. So that's what you have to do. You have to stay consistent, stay the course, and just keep battling, because, it's going to get tough. But, if you do things for the right reasons, what I mean, you can keep enduring, so that's my tip for everybody, is stay consistent, do it with a smile, and keep pushing.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. And I mean, trust the process, love the process. You do things the right way, things will go right for you. I mean, work hard, do things the right way. My guy, Tony Romo, always said that. And I mean,
yes, sir. Yeah. Tony Romo.
Hey, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. Excuse the Tim Boyle thing. He's one of my friends.
I saw it. I peeped it, but I think I'm a command. I think we call them the Commanders nowadays, but Redskins from back in the day. Big fan of those.
Wow. Yeah. So, and I actually do an NFL podcast too on my other side, where I've talked with Ken Dilger, or not Ken Dilger.
Yes,
Ken Harvey. Well, I did talk with Ken Dilger, tight end for the Peyton Manning. Ken Harvey. 4-time Pro Bowler for your team. class act. Actually, great friends with Terry Crews. Side note, trying to get Terry
Mhm.
on the show. That'd be awesome.
That would be dope. That would be really awesome, man.
And last thing before we get into the rapid fire
Yes,
questions,
sir.
I'm actually very interested. I don't think I've actually asked a bodybuilder on this show, how many carbs are you getting in a day, Carlos?
Man, looking at it, before we scaled it back, I was probably getting around. I have to say it was probably around like. I had to calculate probably 150 post workout, maybe like around a little bit over 500 grams carbs. Yeah, it was a lot. And a lot of it was just from potatoes, white rice, but strategically, my coach likes to throw in simple sugars.
Yeah.
So like say for my breakfast meal, he would throw in a tablespoon of brown sugar or
Yeah.
something like that. So it's like in berries. So like you get like you get the two different types of sugars there. So he likes to throw in like little easier digesting carbohydrates to push the count up a little bit. So that was probably around like the 500 to 600 range.
Wow. When my coach, when I was preparing for prep, my coach would give me refeed days with 450 carbs. I felt like a kid in the candy shop. So 500,
Yeah,
I feel like I could hit that pretty. I was enjoying the 450 compared to that 140 I was going for. So yeah, 500, that's quite a lot. And I know you're getting all those calories and protein.
in you there, sir.
Now, Carlos, it has been such an honor and privilege. And I like to get my guests out of here with some rapid fire questions. Are you game, sir?
Sorry, sir. I lost you for a second there, champ. My bad. My
All
connection.
good.
Apologies.
I like to get my guests out of here with some rapid fire questions. Are you game?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Throw them at me.
Favorite Project AD product?
Oh yeah, nitrox. That's nitrox. It's our pump formula, stem free. I think it's about 5 grams of glycosides, or you get 5 grams of glycerol, some citrulline in there as well. But when I take that, it's like skin pumps are ridiculous. I could tell if I don't take it, the workouts don't feel the same. And that's my favorite product by far. I'm not a stem guy, but yeah, if you're looking for the pump, like nitrox is.
And what code can we use? Is it code Carlos? Carlos, you with us? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sorry, champ. I think I lost you. Apologies.
No, you're all good. I was going to say, what code can we use? Is it code Carlos?
Oh, it's Carlos 10.
Carlos 10. All right, perfect. Run that code
Carlos
up
10,
Underdog. Support our guy and get some damn good pump. No pre-workout for a year or no pump for a year?
No pre-workout for a year, dog. Come on, man. Like if you didn't have a pump, you would. If I didn't have a sick pump, it would feel like the workout was incomplete. I'd rather have a crazy pump than to be caffeinated. I can if I get a good pump, it gives me the will to keep going in the gym. But what I mean, if you had a day with no pump, I can will myself through a workout no matter how tired I am. But I need.
I respect that. I respect that. You're really one of the only people to say pump. Chris Gethin was the other person, and Gethin goes neither. I go, all right, Chris, you're on your own island.
Yeah.
Now, Carlos, that's a trick question. If you have a good product, your product should in your pre-workout have plenty of pump. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. But
true. Some stimulus ones that do have pumps, but too much stimulant, as you know, bro. It's a it's not it'll constrict your blood vessels. So I don't really think if it was a sweet spot, probably 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine with some pump in there is really good. That's a good product right there. Sorry, but yeah.
That's valid. Honey or salt?
I'm sweets all day, man. Sweets. Yeah.
And you know, when I had this question in my mind, I thought you were taking honey before your workout, and people take salt before your workout. But I like the
do
honey.
salt. I do the teaspoon of salt before my workout.
Oh, so you're a both kind of guy. I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. That question worked out perfectly. Honey after, salt before. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Last two are big ones on this show, Carlos. First one.
Bring it.
Talk like Rocky Balboa for the rest of your life, or have to box Rocky Balboa in his prime.
Oh man. All right, which prime we're talking about? Are we talking about when he defeated Apollo Creed prime, or when he came back pretty ripped up in like Rocky 3 or Rocky 4? Because he was pretty ripped up.
He was, and
Oof.
shout out to our guy Rich Gaspari, who was on the show, and Rich goes,
Yes, sir.
You know the reason Sylvester Stallone got ripped was because of me. I go, damn, Rich. Look at you, man. Apparently, Sylvester Stallone really looked up to Rich. But we are talking about Rocky 3, Carlos.
All right, he was pretty ripped in that, man. I talk like Rocky. I talk like Rocky for the rest of my life.
Yeah, rest of your life.
How many rounds? How many rounds? I can go one round with him for sure.
All right, one round. Let's run it.
One round. Well, if it was one round, I'd go as at least like 3 rounds with Rocky. Prime Rocky. Because I'm not talking like him for the rest of my life. Who wants to talk like that all day? You know, Adrian. No one wants to speak. No one wants to have a comment. Yeah. You know, at the end of Rocky 4, he's like, I did it. Like, no one wants to speak like that for the rest of their life. No.
I thought it was kind of badass at first, but I
What would you do? I need to know what would you do though? What was your pick?
I'm talking like him the rest of my life because
Yeah.
Here's my Carlos. If I go in the ring like against him, I'm gonna talk like him anyways with one punch.
Right. You're gonna
It's like it's a lose.
Agree. I didn't see it like that, but yeah, you're right.
And then you know, I was talking with Sean Ray yesterday. I asked him the question, but with a different one. I go, Sean, would you rather box Mike Tyson as prom or talk like Mike Tyson? And weirdly, Sean Ray has the best Mike Tyson impersonation you will ever hear in this world. It is out of this world.
I'll have to see it.
And now, Carlos, you're also the first person to actually give me, out of everyone I've ever interviewed, you're the first person to actually give me a round number on how long you will be with him. Everyone's like, first round, it'll be over. No, you said 3 rounds. You can go. I love that. I freaking love that.
You gotta have some confidence.
Hey, I love it. And last one's a big one on this show. Pull-ups or chin-ups?
Pull-ups. All day.
We are speaking with Carlos Thomas Jr., an absolute beast. I mean, that was the right answer, Carlos. Pull-ups are so much more challenging than blanking on the name now.
Chin-ups. Yeah.
Chin-ups. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't even want to think about chin-ups. They're not the real deal. Carlos, before we go, the floor is yours. Is there anything you want to find? You know, anything you want to plug? Where can we find your codes? Where can we find your content? The floor is yours, sir.
All right, brother. Thank you very much for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time. I know it's a little bit late into the evening that we had to do this, but you know, I really appreciate your hospitality and to have me on your podcast here. But yeah, you know, I definitely, you can find me on my Instagram. That's just Carlos. If you search Carlos Thomas Jr., it should pop right up. And also, if you're on YouTube, you can search Carlos Thomas Jr. That should pop right up as well, my YouTube channel. So yeah, you can find me on those 2 streaming platforms, those platforms right there. And if you need any products, please go to Project AD, use code Carlos10. If you're interested in clothing, go to ironrebel.com and use code Carlos for your discounts.
Oof, I love it. And you know what we're going to do? First person to buy a product from either of those sites and use code Carlos10, we will send you a big pack of goodies and a signed autograph from one of the legendary guests we've had on. Please go run up his code, send me a DM, and we'll make it happen. Again, I am talking with Carlos Thomas Jr., the future of bodybuilding. I am saying it now. I do believe it. I really do believe it. Please go like, subscribe, comment on his stuff. Check out our stuff. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. But until next time, Underdog out. Hey, Carlos.